Lost Island Theme Park in Waterloo, Iowa just made a really cool announcement about a new coaster that will be opening in 2025. It's an RMC Raptor. This single rail coaster is heading to the Mura Fire Realm, which also includes the awesome Volcanoe Quest for the Golden Idol dark ride near the front of the park. So, if you're not familiar with the Raptor model, it's a single rail coaster where riders are sitting single file. And that's going to feel very different than your typical coaster, especially when you start to hit some inversions. It's also able to fit into smaller spaces where a park like Lost Island's not going to have room for a massive wooden roller coaster, but they could fit it into a smaller space. Some examples are like the Jersey Devil at Six Flags Great Adventure. There are several Wonder Woman coasters, and there's also Stunt Pilot at Silverwood in Idaho. And the layout for Fire Runner is going to mirror Stunt Pilot, but they're going to have two more rows in the vehicle. Well, thanks to Airtime Thrills copyright free channel, I can show you this clip of the Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. And that should give you a good idea of what an RMC Raptor and how a single rail coaster looks, including its track and ride vehicles. And it's really cool. It's so different than your typical coaster. So, Fire Runner is going to have three inversions, a maximum speed of 52 miles per hour, and 1,950 feet of track, which I believe is slightly more than Stunt Pilot's 1,800 feet. It is the first single rail coaster in Iowa, which should draw some enthusiasts from Adventureland Park, which a lot of people go to across the state. And it's also going to have a custom lead car, which, based on what I've seen, looks super cool. So during our last trip to Lost Island in July, I spotted this sign that basically says something hot is coming in 2025. Lost Island had been hinting they were working with Rocky Mountain Construction, known commonly as RMC, in a Facebook post last year. They mentioned both a Raptor and a Wild Moose as hints, which Wild Moose is a family coaster concept that we haven't seen come to fruition yet. These are two different types of RMC coasters. I was betting on a Wild Moose because I feel like the park needs a family coaster, but instead they went with the thrills and are making the Fire Runner coaster a Raptor. So Lost Island has been struggling with crowds since the park opened in 2022, and you can see just in this video from when I went how quiet the park looks on a Friday night in late July. So they could definitely use a coaster that's going to draw more attention and bring out of town guests. However, I do feel like a Raptor might not be the best fit for their coaster lineup because it means that, with the exception of the kiddie coaster Localo, which is a wacky worm, the park has three coasters that all have inversions. So you have Matagani, which is a really good intimate accelerator coaster. It's not that intense, but it has a great launch. It has two inversions. It's going to be something that a lot of people are going to want to do. But the fact that it has inversions, some guests aren't going to want to. And then you also have the really rough Nobuko Air Coaster, which looks great. I love the purple color, but it is not a coaster I can recommend to anyone. There is a moment after the first drop that is one of the roughest I've experienced on any coaster. And I don't mean that in a good way. Your head just violently shakes forward. The ride has five inversions. It also has a helix, which is not typical for this type, which is called a Vekoma SLC. But that's also not a ride people are going to keep riding repeatedly or that are going to go to the park to ride, especially for enthusiasts, unless they're just trying to raise their credit counts. So adding a Raptor makes sense because it's going to help the attendance issues at Lost Island and keep it open in the short term, but they really need a family coaster to balance the lineup. Regardless, though, I am really excited to see that Lost Island not only will be open in 2025, but that it will have a cool new coaster. Its remote location in Waterloo is still a challenge, so adding more rides is going to make people travel to experience it. That can only help the cause. As you're seeing with some of these clips, there's a lot of really cool theming here, and I enjoyed going there and will love to go back. Now, if they could just do a better job of advertising the park, I hope they bring out the ads for Fire Runner early next year because they're going to need to spread the word about this park. You can't just have me and other podcasters and enthusiasts talking about it. You need to spread the word to the general public. So, what do you think of this new announcement from Lost Island? Is it exciting? Did you wish for something else? Will it make you make the trip to Lost Island Theme Park? If you've been there, I'm also curious what you think and how it fits well into the park. My name is Dan. I would love to hear what you think in the comments section, and thank you so much for watching this video.